yesterday and a little bit the day before
Oh.
about the amount of times I accidentally hit stream versus record.
Yeah, I did that 2 weeks in a row.
You did, and you finally took it off your desktop.
We're live.
Hey, beautiful people, what's going on? We're getting ready for another weekly, daily Wednesdays. We are talking all the smack.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It was basically, the reason why I did that was because I have shortcuts set to start and stop recording and streaming in OBS.
Mm-hmm.
And to start recording, it was the Windows key and the apostrophe. And to start streaming, it was the Windows key, shift, and apostrophe. And for some reason, my brain thought, no, you need to hold down the shift key to start recording. And I'm like, okay, we're changing that. After the second week in a row, it's like, yeah, we're changing that. So now it's Control Shift apostrophe to start streaming and Windows apostrophe to start recording. It was like the one key is it's like I don't really use that key in games, so meh.
I don't know. You could just like repurpose a tablet.
Yeah, good.
You
Or
could.
a laptop.
Or a laptop.
Or one of those USB numpads that I happen to have laying about. I just have to change the inputs to something else.
We did that, and I still got that jelly number pad, man. That was a very well spent $8.
Yeah, no, that USB numpad I have was free from where I used to work in Portugal because they did like a bit of a cleanup. Get rid of all the old
apparently.
stuff. Well, yeah. They got rid of me eventually. That's just because, oh yeah, government funding for that new employee you have, it's going to end after X amount of, I think it was a year. It's like, so you're going to have to start paying him out of pocket? Yeah, we can't afford that. Okay. Off I go.
Aw. Hi, Jelly Bean.
So what do
Hi,
we got
Art
coming
Theron.
up? If you're just tuning in, we got we're gonna be talking about Pine tablets. That's a thing, a new system
Yeah.
from System 76.
Oh, yes.
Vector undoodle redos, some gnome business, video editing, and brewing
Yeah.
homes.
Yes. Homebrew. Linux brew.
Because if you wanted yet another repository for more applications than you currently already have available for your distro,
Yes.
Homebrew.
Steambot Willie, is you dead? Nope.
Oh, hi, Linux Ginnaru. Hello.
Yep, there it is.
Matthew Strider.
It's specials. It's Steam specials that shows you what's on sale.
I forgot.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, Mir.
Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers. Oh, right. The DLC for the MMO, right. I don't feel the least bit curious about that particular MMO.
Oh, hi, S. Michelle. I am sporting one of my scale mugs today. Yay, scale 15X. And I got my scale shirt on, one of them. This is the scale 14X shirt.
Nerd.
Hey, $10 for Dark Souls 3. If you're looking for games on the whitelist, that's probably worth a grab if you like Dark Souls.
You got a copy of that, right?
Yes.
Maybe I'll get Jordan and me a copy so we can do that.
Yeah.
We're playing your favorite game this week.
I actually very much like that game, yes.
Which means I
Not
gotta
Dark
put some time
Souls, the
into it.
one we're throwing chairs at, that I'm being cagey about deliberately.
You're cagey naturally, man. How do you expect people at home to tell? Do I need to come up with like a cagey lower third?
I thought it would be a nice pun given all the Cage references we have going on, including that one right there. On the wall
Oh, that's
behind
what I
them.
need to do. I need to get a light up here, man. Just like
Yeah.
Cage lights on.
Illuminate
RTX
Lord
on.
Cage.
Yes.
Won't be a thing. Oh man, I am learning all about. It takes
No,
a
it isn't.
minute to render out 1080p 60. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
When I sent you the video of the recording of the test that I was doing with Jordan, it's like, an hour? What the hell? It usually is a bit faster than that. Oh, 1080p. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I think, well, it's not bad because I did a recording of what we played yesterday.
Yes.
Did a local recording. That'll be up. I just wanted to do a performance test on our system here. And that was lossless. Fortunately, the game's so dark, it was only like a 74 gigabyte file for 50, 55 minutes. And, but crunching that down with reasonable quality, I got it down to like 2.2 gigs. But yeah, that takes about an hour.
Yeah.
The file I sent you for the test, it was only 30 minutes, and after running it through Handbrake on slowest, it was 1.9 gigs.
All 10 games run it. All 10 games? Well, everything runs on Linux, man. Come on.
Give it enough time.
Thank you, Steve
Right.
Husband. I think I have a hot spot on my hair, though. I need to. With Discord, the lighting is different than with Jitsi.
Yeah, you
I gotta-
actually get proper camera controls when it comes to
Yeah.
Jitsi. Yeah,
Exactly. So
Jitsi
now,
would be
now
good. But the only thing we got to do now is work on like making you the correct colors, where you don't have like
Yeah.
that pastel filter.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start playing with that. I didn't even think about that, of course, because I've been on on Discord for a little bit, and it's different on Jitsi.
What type of webcam? do you have?
GUVC view. That helps.
Yeah, that's what I've got. I've got the brightness down too on it. The 920,
C920?
just like you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
sell
I
the
can-
Vixia over here in the UK. They only
Yeah, I
have
can-
the... What's it called?
Maybe this is my way to you, Pedro. I'm going to tell you I'm going to send you one, but I'm really going to send you stuff that would improve your streaming quality instead. You'd be like, oh, here's my Vixen. Aw.
It's the Legria.
Like, I did look, man. Yeah, 1080p 60? 60 the operative word here.
No, it's 1080p 50.
Exactly.
Because UK.
Because we're pretending that, PAL and NTSC are still a thing.
In
yeah.
the age of digital media. Yeah. Yeah, it's you search on Amazon UK for Canon Vixia and you get the Legria, but that's a 50 FPS camera. But wait, what?
That was, I genuinely, I was like, are you just being stupid on purpose? And yeah, I crawled around like Amazon. I was like, nope, that's the thing.
No, it's a 50p. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play with my GUVC settings for next time. Get these. I
Oh
did
yes,
turn down the bright.
Massavoni. I did see your
Yeah.
Steam gift. Thank you very much.
Oh, what did he send you?
Zero G Arena. Apparently, he wants
Oh.
us to throw chairs at it.
Oh, okay. Thank
Why did you
Matt Savoni.
spoil my surprise, Pedro?
Oh, sorry. I thought you had already opened it.
Jeez. I'm heartbroken now. Now I'm going to be all depressed during this show. I might even be like grumpy.
Oh, so you'll be your usual self?
Man, I'm a ball of sunshine, man. Don't make me fly over there and kick you in the throat.
Yes, clearly.
I'm fully aware that my resting state's mildly irritated. Trust me, this is something I'm familiar with.
Apparently, my resting state at work is mildly condescending because people look at me as like, I know I'm being an idiot. It's like, I'm not calling you an idiot. Yeah, but you're looking at me with that face. That's the only one I have.
Well, thank you, Massivoti. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Little bits. AMD, hurry up and release the new Ryzen thing so the 2700s get cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, oh, it's a 16% or 17% IPC increase from the 2700X. I want that. I want that a lot.
I want the 2700. See, this is the irritating thing. It would be foolish to buy it right now.
Yeah. That's
Because-
way too expensive.
Right. I mean, you can get a 1700X for like 130 quid.
170, 180 over here, but yes.
Right. So, yeah, Ryzen 3.
Yeah, no, that Ryzen 3, it's depending on the price point that they launch
Aw.
at, because if they decide to take a cue from the Radeon 7, yeah.
I'm sure you had a point in there, but you lost me.
They released a Radeon 7 at $600, which...
They did that because allegedly, we don't know these things, the tape out for Navi, and they had to send it back to TSMC or whoever they had.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, crap, we got to release something. Like, even the reports for the HBM memory on that thing was like, their cost was like $300 just for the memory on it.
Yeah.
16
Oh, boy.
gigs, which is nice.
Oh. Massivoni
And
sent that to me
HBM
too.
All right, nice.
Nice.
Oh, he did? Great.
Yeah.
Now I don't even feel special.
You rock, Massivoni.
Yeah, 3,700 would be nice. Over here in Budgetsville,
Yeah.
on our budget, we're looking for like a 2,700 to become like $150. Yo.
Yeah, that's the thing. If the 2700X had dropped to like, I don't know, 200,
It's going to be a hard decision.
225 pounds.
It's going to be tough.
It's like I was willing to spend around 225 pounds for a 2700X easily, but yeah, no, they just keep increasing in price. It's just stop. No.
Like on principle, with like if you're concerned about like power and stuff like that, the 2700 and like the 1700's a 65 watt part
Yeah.
versus 125 watt for the X variant, and that's it. I just got to see what they're going to do because what did I pay? I paid like $306 or $7 for the 1700 when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, I paid 170 for the 1600. 170 pounds.
However, this money saving, this thriftiness is all for naught. If like the Ryzen 3 is like $300, I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just.
Yeah. It's like 3700 or 3700X for 300 pounds. You know what? F it.
We'll see what the IPC improvement is over the.
Yeah, it's supposedly 16 or 17 percent on average better than the 2700X. So that's good. It's very good.
If it's priced right, that's right, 100%.
Yeah.
It's the best AMD video card right now.
The Radeon 7? I mean, it is the fastest.
Like the 590 if you're nasty. I mean,
If you're looking at price, the 580 is probably where you want to be at.
really the best AMD card you can buy right now is like RTX 2060 if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Just get a sticker, put it on it. You'll never know.
You can't really buy 1070s or 1070 Ti's anymore, so yeah, you're looking at the 2060 if you want anything.
Well, they're getting hard to find. I mean,
Yeah, Nvidia stopped producing them about a month ago, so yeah, no, that stock is running out.
that's what they want everybody to believe, man. They made so many.
Yeah, they said that the stock was piling up on the 20 series because everyone was still buying like the 1070, the 1080, the 1060. Those cars were still selling very, very well. It's like, how the hell do we get people to I wasn't talking about the 2060 mirror. I was talking about the 1070.
No, Pedro, you might have accidentally misspoke on the internet, and even though everyone understood what you meant, there's always going to be that one person.
Oh, Mirror's just being pedantic. Okay.
Ta-da!
Well, if I misspoke, I apologize. But yeah, they stopped producing on the 1080 Ti, 1080, 1070 Ti, 1070, and 1060. They're still doing the 1050 and 1050 Ti. I don't know for how much longer. But yeah. Now they're basically just producing the 20 series.
20 series is, well, until they produce the 11 series at the end of this month.
Oh yeah, they're coming out with the 1660 and the 1650 and the 1660 Ti. Yeah. It's like, what the hell kind of naming scheme is that, NVIDIA? Exactly.
It's NVIDIA, man. They looked at Intel and they're like, hey, we can do confusing numbering schemes too, Intel. You're not the only one.
I mean, if we're talking confusing naming schemes when it comes to NVIDIA, just look at the Shield. Or the Shield. Or the Shield.
Yeah.
Or the Shield.
Completely different products.
It's like at least 4 different products with the Shield branding. It's like, really?
They should own it and just sell a Shield, like a legitimate medieval.
Yeah. It comes with a touchscreen on Android on the inside of the actual Shield. Yeah.
Give it Android Auto, it'd be great. iMac. Oh. Anytime you feel sad or grumpy, like, we didn't get a port. Like, think about our poor Mac brethren and sisters. Like,
oh, what's that? You have a 2-year-old MacBook Pro? I'm sorry. It's not going to support that because you can't upgrade to the newest version of Mac OS. Sorry.
well, you think about you're sitting here on Linux and you're like, oh, that doesn't have a Linux port. Oh, here, let me click this button right quick. Now it does. And
oh, look, Wild West mode. Hey. Yeah.
yeah.
To be fair, Proton does run in macOS. It's just that Valve couldn't get it to work reliably, so it's like, it's for Linux, but you can compile the Proton Git on Mac if you're so inclined. We talked about that last Saturday, Testman.
Hello, Testman.
Yeah, that. See, the FreeSync bits, that is what I'm waiting for, because soulless. It's like, we've been burned before when it comes to newer drivers, so we're taking our time. Okay, alright, I'll wait a week.
As somebody who's genuinely ripped apart and recompiled from source the entire graphics stack all the way down to AV lib, wow.
Yeah, I could install the drivers from the run file just fine. It's just that it messes up a couple of packages in Solus because they really don't want people to install the run file.
As somebody sitting over on Ubuntu 18.04, oh, please tell me about these pains I'm unfamiliar with.
That's why I like Fedora, okay? It's like, oh, what's that? You want to install the NVIDIA drivers from the run file? Here's a minigun. Go ahead and shoot yourself in the foot with that.
Really, it's not. On 18.04, you can't, it will not compile Kmod.
Yeah, but you can set the KMS to just rebuild it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I'm gonna take a quick break before we start.
All right.
Okay. Yay.
And that doesn't fly. The NVIDIA panel doesn't see to video cards, but it's still there. You just have, don't try to, make sure you have your settings right before you do that. CUDA. CUDA's a whole different story I won't even play with. And NVIDIA, release your video codec SDK 9. I'd like that. I'm a developer, technically, according to you. You should give it to me.
NVIDIA has a separate repo for CUDA, which, while I was running Ubuntu Mate, it's like, okay, I can update the kernel because the CUDA SDK doesn't recognize this kernel, so I'll wait a week. It's like, there we go. Okay, now I can update.
And if we're going to talk about CUDA, guess what? Blender? On Turing? Wah wah.
Come on, Blender.
They just ate a big old bag of frowny faces, like compiling kernel, the CUDA bit, and it's like, nope. So you can go into settings and I can switch it back to the 980 to compile and process on that. It'll do it all day long.
It's Blender. You'd think they'd have that's like, ooh, new GPU architecture out. Let's go play with that.
I don't make the rules, I just blindly enforce them. Windows 7 to deepen Linux?
Yeah. As it turns out, deepen, if you set the lower panel to efficient mode, it looks exactly like Windows 7, so yeah.
I don't know about that strategy, man. When you give them something that resembles Windows, they try to use it like Windows, then you get the call. Like, how come I
It's
can't
like-
install my clicky bar thing that I've always
Yes.
used?
Like,
Because I didn't give you
this-
the
I want to
administrator
install this
password,
exe.
and you can't. That's why. Good thing.
Yeah. Basically, what you have to do if you really want to convert people from Windows to Linux is ask exactly what do you use software-wise, and you get all of that running on Linux.
Proselytizing, man. Don't. How to convert spiders to Linux? You help them out when they come and ask.
Mhm.
We all go through that phase. This is the thing we do. Like, no, you should run. You gotta be a little more clever with how you phrase it. Like, if you would like my help, you can run Linux. I can legitimately say, we were talking before we went live. It's like, I don't honestly think I've ever even touched a copy of Vista.
Yeah.
I'm no help with that. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but if we're in a situation of like, oh, you want me to Google that for you? You know, I'm probably not the person you should have working on your device.
Yeah, when it comes to Windows 10, unfortunately, I've learned to recognize error boxes. Oh, that's the issue. Hold on, give me a sec. There, try it now. It's working? Cool. Bye.
What Windows may look like.
Yeah, WPS Office is great if you have an English locale set up. Say you want to have a Portuguese locale for some reason. That translation isn't great, and people go, that's not right.
Why would you? Man, you need to learn how to assimilate into a culture. Jeez.
Look, this box is still running in Portuguese because I have a Portuguese layout keyboard.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we need to pass the plate around and pick up a collection. That is
Yeah,
the
if you-
weakest damn excuse I've ever heard.
If you look at the symbols next to the letters there, Yeah, that's the Portuguese layout. All the accents and the C with a little tick at the bottom.
It's a shame that's hard coded too. There's no way to change any of that.
I don't want to put stickers on it. It looks so pretty.
You look at your keyboard.
I don't, but other people do.
Fries in Portuguese. Seems legit.
That Ronaldo statue.
I think it's brilliant.
How much did you pay
Ew.
that sculpture exactly? Oh, like almost €1 million. You need to get your money back immediately.
No, I want one. Like a little one. All right. It is almost 3:30. About time to start.
Yes.
Okay.
Something to drink. And double check. Are you on the correct video card? Yes, you are. Okay, good.
I have a bunch of keyboards with the UK layout there, Arthurian. It's just that...
Arthurian, dude, realize it's a weak excuse, but that's his excuse. Let him have it. There's no point.
I like the accent keys. They're useful.
All you gotta say is, I don't want it. Then I'm like, you know what? We're cool, man.
No, but that's the thing. The accent keys are actually useful because they're not used for anything. And they're close enough to the arrow keys that I can reach them with my right hand.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back. Then we'll do a show. How about that?
Yes. Sounds good.
Dvorak. I used a Dvorak keyboard in university. And it was, you know, those people who don't use keyboards on a regular basis and they peck and hunt with their finger? It's just
Yes.
one finger sticking out. It's like, tick, tick, tick. That was me with the Dvorak keyboard.
Yeah.
And what was it? The French layout. I had a keyboard once with a French layout. Instead of being QWERTY, it's AZERTY.
Oh, yes.
Okay, no.
Yeah. No way.
The Q and the W are in the wrong place. Just saying.
Yeah, I have a couple of those keyboards in my collection, but there's no way I could use those. Poor Pedro. Oh my God. You just can't.
Like I went to
you know.
university and I went to the local computer shop. It's like, oh look, USB keyboards for like €5. All right, I'll buy one of them.
Oh, and it was.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I actually learned to type on a classic typewriter back in high school. So it's just, yeah.
I used to play. I didn't actually write anything on a typewriter when I went to primary school
Oh, so
in
good.
the
You
early
had experience.
1990s. It's like, ooh, it's a digital typewriter.
Yeah, one of those word processors, they called
Yep.
them. Yeah, those were great. Once they went from, classic analog to the word processor, that was really nice. Yeah, I had to turn in all my hundreds of essays on an old classic typewriter.
Oh, what's that?
That was hard
Backspace?
mode.
Yeah, no. You make a mistake, you're starting from scratch. Bye.
Incorrect.
Yeah.
White out.
No, man.
Why not?
You could buy the typewriters that, I mean, it was a strip cartridge you had to put into them, but yeah, they could backspace.
All right.
It's legit.
Yeah, I remember when my mom got her first digital typewriter. It was like, oh, I can delete a word, so if I made a mistake, I don't have to restart from scratch. That's great.
Those were wonderful. Wonderful. By the time I got to college, I got to use those for all my research papers, and it's nice.
Yeah. Like 1990.
I don't know, man. Quit pretending there's something wrong with a quill and parchment. I mean, listen.
Yeah. Oh, I learned how to do all that. that was. I like it. It's cool.
I think it's rubbish. I hate
Calligraphy.
writing. It is now. In all fairness, it is an absolute adventure in this house to try to find a piece of paper.
Nori draws a lot, so she keeps a lot of blank paper sheets around.
When I here's the piece of paper in this house. It's either that or I go out to that mailbox thing that you have to periodically
Yeah.
throw every single thing in there into the wheelie bin because there's nothing in there except ads.
Yeah. Lots of that.
Yeah, Virgin's a big fan of sending like A4 sized ads over the mail.
Nice.
I got one right there. Hold on.
Yay.
Hey, man. Did they pay for that?
That's why it's not on the recorded bit of the show.
Anita. That's the same thing as a typewriter.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And cool. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I am old enough to have, like, as a child, as a wee baby, I had a dot matrix printer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This, I think, maybe. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we like to sit back, relax,
Yay!
take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things that we found going on in the world of Linux open source, and pretty much anything else that catches our eyes. I'm Vince Stone.
Mhm.
That's Joe Bryant. And that's Pedro Mateus. You know him.
Hello.
Yay!
And everyone joining us live, give them a big hand because they're awesome.
Yay! We love you, chat room.
See, look at that. I mean, just pouring out love. What's up, Joe? What's going on?
Oh boy! Well, I'm excited because I finally got my new 300 megabit symmetric fiber internets. Yay! So I'm coming in much clearer, especially on the video and the audio.
Poke it with a stick, Joe. Poke it
Yeah.
with a stick.
Yeah.
No, everything's on fire, man. I've been kind of busy putting together like the super awesome, in-depth, like legit hardware, software guide, maybe you'd want to call it, for how we broadcast here with all this nonsense and a lot of nonsense you can't see, but really a focus on how the audio system's set up with video and all that fun stuff. Stay tuned for that. I should have that up for patrons Friday. So, Pedro, I expect you to watch it because this is definitely one of those, Vin was hit by a bus and eaten by a raptor. So
And we need to keep this going. Yeah,
right,
okay.
yeah, this is definitely one of those types of videos. So, again, for the 156th week in a row, you didn't put anything in the show notes as to what you're doing. What are you up to?
Not much actually. I've been basically on cost contention mode because this month is well, at the end of the month is Nori's birthday, so I'm saving money.
Aw.
So yeah, can't really talk about
Okay.
new things because I can't buy them.
Hey, we all need to save up our money because first thing we're going to be talking about is the Pine 64. They got 2 new pieces of kit. They rolled it out for the community stall at FOSDEM 2019. Couple of announcements. This one, all right, this is neat. They're talking about the Pine Book, which is going to be an ARM-based 64-bit ARM. And it looks neat, 11.6-inch screen, and okay, maybe. Hey, it's got USB Type-C. I'm not terribly excited about this because this is like, okay, this is kind of a weak Chromebook. So what's
Yes.
really...
I mean, it's not comparatively speaking to some of the ARM-based Chromebooks. It's actually very powerful because it's got a 64-bit ARM-based SoC. But I really want to get my hands on one of those new Pine Books, but they're like $199, and that's a bit much that I'm willing to pay for a play around with it type of laptop. So, Pine.
I don't even want to hear that, man, because talking about playing around thing, the big announcement, the one thing I was really happy to see is the Pine tablet, because we want a Linux tablet that doesn't cost $600. We always throw that in there at the end too.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
oh, winner, A64 SoC. Yes, I'm like, okay, this might be cool. And right up until the point where I got it has a 10-inch 720p screen. And not gonna lie to you, man, that didn't make me very happy. Now, admittedly, they're saying this thing's going to be $79 for the tab itself, $99 if you want a keyboard. Which, okay, you got my. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm not pretending here. It's like, oh, I'm not going to buy it because it's $7. I'm still going to buy ones, but I don't know exactly what kind of chicanery we're going to be able to get away with only 2 gigs of RAM. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a bit of a limitation, and the 720p
Yeah.
screen certainly doesn't help.
Jill, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm really interested actually in the Pinebook Pro that's in the article,
Yes.
for obvious reasons, and actually I'm gonna a little bit. They should have replaced the Windows SuperKey logo with the Tux Penguin though, and the Pine Tab picture. At least have done that. Yes, but I actually wasn't impressed with the Pine Tab. It was only an extra $20 for a keyboard. I mean, you know how much Apple gouges you for that. So that's pretty cool, actually. And Pinebook Pro is the one I'm really interested in because that's a full-fledged laptop. Desktop.
Yeah, it's a native ARM Linux
yeah.
laptop, which is really nice. Why is my nose green? Oh, there we go.
We definitely could have went places with that pager, but
Yeah.
let's talk about a system that's going to be a little bit more powerful, but a lot more expensive.
Oh, yes.
Little bit.
Okay, so this is System 76 is doing refresh of their Darter Pro Linux laptop. And as in System 76 tradition, it ships with your choice of Ubuntu 18.04 LTS or their own Pop! OS, 1804 or 1810. And despite its low profile and being extremely battery efficient, the Darter Pro laptop is as all System 76 systems are, will have plenty of expansion slots
That's
as well.
some really not good Photoshops.
Yeah.
That screen was clearly photoshopped on there. Just saying.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, System 76 has always been really good with their expansion slots, and this one has a USB 3.0, 3.1 Type C, and 2 3.0 Type A's, and 1 2.0. So it's nice because it has new and legacy USB ports as well as an SD card reader. So I've always been impressed with the System 76 laptops.
Well,
They
it's
come
definitely
with all the
clocking in. I
ports.
mean, they're making 8th gen Intels available, Core i5, Core i7, and 1080p, Pedro. What do you think about that?
Mhm.
No, well, it's got a UHD 620 from Intel in it, but it's only 1080p.
Yeah.
This is a 15.6-inch laptop, which is significant in size, and for that size of a screen, you would want at least 2560 by 1440. But we're not getting
Yeah.
that, and apparently System 76 is saying, yeah, that 1080p screen turns out it's pretty battery efficient, and I can't really argue with them on that. The biggest thing about that one is the Thunderbolt port, because it does USB Type-C, and it does Thunderbolt. So if you want to have like the one laptop that you get to carry around with you all day, and then you bring it home, you plug it into the external GPU adapter, you got yourself a gaming machine with whatever GPU you happen to have inside that particular external enclosure. So yeah, that is actually a good idea, and I'm really hoping that all of the Linux resellers or system manufacturers will actually start to include more Thunderbolt in their laptops. Would be very nice to see Tuxedo and Entroware actually come out with something with Thunderbolt in them. That would be really awesome.
Let's bring back Firewire, man. Come on.
Yes.
Thunderbolt can actually push like a gigabit per second.
I think it's a neat piece of kit. They're starting at $9.99. But keep in mind, man, I mean, you're definitely paying for some good support. You know?
Yeah, it is a 15.6-inch Ultrabook for that bit.
Yes.
So
Good to know. Linux kernel Spectre. I've been told on multiple occasions, only by one person, it's not a real thing and never have to worry about it.
Yeah, so there, as you may know, there were some big hardware vulnerabilities when it came to Intel processors late last year. You may have known them as the Spectre and Meltdown vulnerabilities, and Linux was one of the first operating systems to, of course, start work on those patches, and people immediately picked up on them because of the patches that were being submitted to the kernel. And one of the big drawbacks of those patches was the reduction in performance. So if you had a system that was particularly vulnerable to certain Spectre variants, of which there are 8 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Give it another week.
Yeah, like 8 total variants of Spectre and 2, I think, of Meltdown.
Meltdown,
But yeah, the big one was variation 4, which was the one that the patch caused the biggest performance decrease. And of course, the Linux kernel implemented those fixes, and it came at a significant performance impact. So a lot of people kicked up a big fuss, and AMD was like, yeah, we have a near 0% chance of being hit by that, so how about just to disable it? And the only way you had to disable it was to completely remove it. But now there is SSBD, which is a mitigation thing. It doesn't completely fix it because, again, it's a hardware flaw, so it's very hard to completely fix it. But it mitigates the effects of Spectre on a per application basis, which is very nice.
Very nice.
You don't have to have that performance impact if your application isn't checking memory to see if something else is running. So that's very good. That's very good.
Yeah. To me, this was, one of the best ways to do it, having per app flagging. It's a nice approach to the all or nothing dilemma as far as Spectre protection is concerned. So, and yeah, definitely, this is awesome. And that was a good point that Pedro brought up about Red Hat.
Yeah, no, Red Hat is actually one of the big Linux companies pushing for a proper fix for this that doesn't have the performance impact, because they have a lot of enterprise customers running Intel CPUs that are vulnerable to Spectre, and they don't want the performance decrease.
Well, that's definitely a thing. I mean, this really hit Intel pretty hard, and like branch speculation is something everything does. So I'm absolutely sure that, everyone on Team Blue, including Team Blue itself, was like, yes, this is nice for the all or nothing. Because we're thinking about like that. No, we're talking about VMs, the VxWorks and stuff like that. That this is running on just like crippling it. I mean, it was bad with some things like 30%. And yeah, you know, and I'm sure AMD's like, hey, you want to buy some epics? And because while it was
AMD
definitely
was
hit-
just living the dream at that point. Oh, what's that? They
Yeah.
just launched a new architecture, and
Well-
Intel's being hit by a pretty serious
you want
bug.
something like this rolling out right now because you're definitely
Yeah.
looking at like 12 to 16 months for hardware validation.
Yeah.
So we're definitely getting to the time where something like this needs to appear. But
Mhm.
we have a story about GNOME, and we got to give it to our resident GNOME fanboy, Pedro Mateus.
Well, everyone knows exactly. I don't particularly like GNOME, but with the new version 3.32, they're actually improving performance, which has been one of the big sticking points when it comes to the GNOME shell and GNOME 3 and everything else around GTK 3. And they are basically going into the code, getting rid of a lot of the cruft, including the translucency on the top bar, which has had issues since day one, and no one's ever addressed them, possibly because no one could figure out what the hell they were doing for that bug to happen. But no, they're getting rid of a lot of the useless cruft, and they're actually improving performance, which is very good to see. Now, I am questioning, what exactly are they doing in the change from 330 to 332, which is going to cause that much of a performance increase? Because on this X230 right here, I am running Ubuntu 1904 beta, and it's running GNOME 330, and the performance is actually very good. It only uses like 600 megs as it boots, so that's about in line what you'd expect nowadays. And yeah, it's smooth. All the animations are smooth. Everything works really well. So what exactly are they doing differently?
Well, one of the ideas I had is now that Canonical is using GNOME as their default desktop manager for Ubuntu and contributing to it, it should get faster, right? Of course, because they're doing
Remember Unity?
And- yes. Yes, remember Unity. And actually, the big app icon redesign in GNOME 3.32 that we talked about last week should also improve the performance of GNOME. It seems simple, but not having to have 7 different icons for an application to move around is very memory efficient. It'll just have one SVG file now. So that actually does really speed up the desktops as the icons, and not having to use raster ones, using vector ones.
We have to put it point blank at the end of the day. If you're running GNOME, you shouldn't be running a system low enough in power to where things like icons would make any difference. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, yeah.
Use
However,
LXQT. Seriously.
Yes.
However, what I do have to think about, as someone who runs a desktop that's considered relatively lightweight. So we're talking desktop, no window manager. I'm running XFC, as we all know, because I talk about it all the time. Is Pedro, you're my go-to on this, is running GNOME really that good of idea, or is it really a problem on modern hardware, period? Like if I installed GNOME, would I notice this?
Yes. You would notice a couple of really egregious crashes on things that shouldn't be crashing. Like if, say, you wanted to watch a full-screen YouTube video, and all of a sudden the sound just dies. Pulse audio is still running, it's just the sound goes away. Why? That's GNOME. That's a GNOME bug.
What about this terminal, though? I mean, if I wanted to dedicate like 35 to 40 minutes every day checking out how my terminal was performing. This is critical, man. I need answers.
Yeah.
GNOME, for people who just have a basic use, like say you just want your big icons on your desktop to click on the applications you want to run, and you don't want to particularly worry about anything because you can't really change anything out of the box in GNOME. GNOME is actually a very good desktop environment for that. But I wouldn't recommend it for the power user.
Yeah.
Use XFCE, use Mate, use OpenBox, use any of the tiling window managers. Any of them.
No,
really.
Sorry, man. You've angered and confused me. I'm going back to using Unity.
Oh. Wow.
I also want to say it's really good on, I'm going to say Jorge's employer, Endless, for letting him use part of his work time to help work on the GNOME project.
Yeah, that is
So
cool.
that's super neat and excellent on both parties. Jill, Paint 2.0's here, and
Yeah.
I took it for a spin. By spin, I mean I installed it going, yeah, I don't know how to art.
Yeah. Oh, this is awesome. This is after 2 years in development. My Paint version 2.0.0 alpha has been released. And it's a lot like Krita. My Paint is an open source raster graphics editor for digital painters with a focus on painting rather than image manipulation or post-processing like the GIMP. And what's awesome in this release, it adds even more configurable brush features with linear blending for non-pigment layers and brush modes, smudge enhancements, and a spectral paint pigment layer and brush mode. And actually, I have always loved my Paint because it has the look and feel of Corel Painter. And yeah, I I am an artist and I do drawing and I teach computer animation and computer graphics. And this is a tool I have my students use a lot, actually. And it actually came about the same time as Krita. And so it's been around a very, very long time. And it's very intuitive and I think very easy to use. So I was really excited about it.
I read the the URL on the show notes. It's like, oh, is it Pinta? No, it's my Paint.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was actually hoping someone would grab Pinta and rework it into something that's actually usable nowadays and release something off of it. But yeah, no, it's my Paint. It's like,
Yeah.
Can we have Pinta, please? Someone grab that project and give it a proper
Yeah,
kicking in the
I know.
ghoulies, please.
Yeah.
One thing
love
I
Pinta,
noticed digging
too.
around, I tried Paint 2.0, as I said. They have an app image, and it worked out of the box, which is good, because I've been
Yes.
dealing with, I'm going to throw both of y'all under the bus, snaps and flat packs. This is just a nasty time to be dealing with either, well, let me, relying on either of those two technologies and expecting them to work as they say on the tin. That can be dicey. But app image, lo and behold, that old timer came out, it launched, it ran, and it really seems like it's geared more, because it starts you with this nice canvas, and it's like, oh, I can do calligraphy and portraits or anything
Yeah.
like that. Something you would want to have like a Wacom tablet, some type of digitizer to take full advantage of.
Yes.
Good on them. One thing I will say, being a Paint program, if you are watching the video version, was effectively 2 minutes of me trying to find screenshots, man. I mean, I tried. I even went to the GitHub page. I'm like, nope, they're just not having that, man. They're not having
Speaking
that.
of which, not including screenshots in their particular release announcement, Flowblade.
Yeah. Yes. And speaking of flat packs,
Thing, man. We like 2.0 releases here on LWDW, and
Yes.
2.0 comes with the largest changes to workflow and UX since the very first release.
yes.
Pretty cool, man. I was really interested in this back in 1.14 when that came out, because they introduced timeline audio syncing, which makes my life so much easier when it works correctly. And again, this was a flat pack. I put it on. It kind of worked for the most part. One of the big features in this, they did some things with the GUIs and all that, but they now have standard and film style workflow options. So that's kind of a nice touch. Big one, keyframes. There's a new
Yes.
keyframe tool, and that is big because if you're doing any type of refined control over animations or just audio, anything, we want to be able to slap those keyframes in there, transitions, anything and the like. So that's now a thing with Flowblade, and they do make a point. Like, hey, we have a new custom feed. I was like, maybe you don't want to tap on that if you didn't test it on 1804, because all of my dialog boxes to save or close or options, they're presented to me in
Yeah.
a shade of white with the
White,
lettering be the lettering just a slightly less shade of that white. We're talking like
Yes.
a fraction to where you have to, get up on it and utilize the fact that I have a TN monitor to kind of get off center with it so I can see what
Yes.
it is.
Yes. Well, as Ben pointed out, the keyframe tool is wonderful. Actually, that's kind of one of the things that makes this a pro level application. Being able to manipulate keyframes in real time on the timeline, that's actually really, really huge and is industry standard. And this is actually my second favorite video editor on Linux after Kdenlive. It has one of the best workflows of any of the nonlinear video editors and is extremely powerful and lightweight, clocking in at under 16 megabytes of RAM, memory, storage space, and installed. And that's just incredible. I mean, most of the video editors out there, even Kdenlive, are several hundred megs running. So that was really, really impressive. And it also reminds me a lot of Adobe Premiere Pro 6.5 before Adobe went to Creative Cloud. And it uses the same key and mouse bindings of all the popular proprietary offerings. Press spacebar to play, timeline, middle mouse button zooms in and out of timeline, etc. And it has a proper titler for text. That was something missing from OpenShot. OpenShot that used to drive me up the wall. So now it's much easier.
I'm going to say, in OpenShot's defense, OpenShot is Windows Movie Maker for Linux.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, Flowblade's trying to kind of, fit in that in between where it's more customizable and has more features than OpenShot. Not quite as good as Kdenlive yet, but that will come. It just needs to add a lot more effects, and we're there.
They got some work to do. We couldn't use Flowblade to make this. Well, maybe we'll get away with this show. Barely. I'd have to choose my way. It's not feature parity. Still got a chunk to go compared to like Kdenlive. But also, Kdenlive, why don't you enable NB encode from default? Seriously. Call me. I'll tell you how to do it.
Yes.
That's pretty neat. I say good on them. I played around with it, tried it, and looking forward to having like real options outside of like DaVinci or just Kdenlive, which is great for doing what we do. Pedro, Homebrew. What is it, man? It sounds scary. It's another 2.0 release. Oh, 2.0.
Yeah, it's another 2.0 release. And if you've ever had to use a Mac, or you were basically given the choice, you can use a Windows laptop or you can use a Mac desktop, and you go, yeah, I'll take the Mac, please. Basically, you really want Homebrew because it is a repository which comes with just about everything that the Apple Store doesn't come with,
including Hardbox.
Yes, including quite a few applications which are not available in your standard Linux distro repos because of licensing issues or because they don't meet the quality standards, which happen to vary, which have a significant variation from package to package depending on who is putting out that package. But hey, when it comes to Homebrew, basically, you want to have it set up if you're a developer or if you're trying something that's not the traditional desktop use for Linux or for Mac or even for Windows if you have the Windows subsystem for Linux installed. And if you're using that, you can actually use Homebrew in there too, and that's one of the big things that Homebrew 2.0 actually brings.
Awesome.
Basically, if you have the Windows subsystem for Linux, you can now use Homebrew in Windows, which is a big improvement when it comes to those developers out there who are unfortunately stuck on Windows. So you can now have everything that's available in Homebrew. You can get that running through the WSL. They also set brew cleanup to periodically, I think it's every 30 days. Yes, every 30 days. It'll do the usual cleanup process and make sure that anything longstanding that's been an issue is cleaned up. They improved support for OS X. No one really cares about that, let's be honest. Even Apple's moved on from OS X now. So, yeah,
These are Pedro's opinions, because I don't want to deal with the emails. Like, do you know that guy on your show said Apple's killing OS X?
OS X is basically that. They have Mac OS now. all lowercase Mac OS. Yes.
See, now that he's clarified, it makes sense. I just saved someone a message.
Yeah, it's just another software repository with non-standard software, if you want to call it that, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely worth a look if you are a developer and you want like something else that's different and you want to try to learn something new. Give Homebrew a look.
Yes.
No,
Yay,
Turbo
literally.
Pascal for life. I refuse.
There's a couple of Pascal packages in Homebrew. Just saying.
I would not fight you on that. I know that. Okay. Before we bounce out here, we need to thank a couple of beautiful people that make this show possible. If you want to help out, we are completely listener funded. This is like a thing we do on PBS. We're like, give us money. No, you do make it possible. If you want to support us, linuxgamecast.com/support. We got a gang of ways to do it. Affiliate links. The best way is Patreon, patreon.com/linuxgamecast. Get some nice rewards, affiliate links, Humble Bundle, Magic Internet Monies, and PayPal. It's brilliant. Thank you so much. We could not be doing it at this level without your supports. Plus, you get your name in the credits, and you can come hang out with us on Saturdays in our Discord before the show, and listen to us as we attempt to try to pretend we know what we're doing. But this week, we got to thank a couple of new patrons. Gonzo2000 is our latest patron. Yishan comes back. Yishan just likes to do it so he can get into our Discord and spy on Strider. That's pretty much it. Marcin, I'm probably, but how would you go with that, Pedro?
No, it's Marcin.
Marcin, all right.
Yeah.
Increase their pledge. And last but not least, Rule Spider, through Pedro and myself, a puzzle game of sorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course,
And-
Macevonia as well,
Yes.
who was also a giver of games earlier today. So big thanks to all y'all for supporting this bit of insanity, what we do.
It's kind of
Yes.
fun, you know, then we get to be our regular selves and like, hey, you know, we wish we could do
Yeah.
everything for free, but we managed to pull off a tremendous amount on a shoestring budget, and it keeps
Yeah.
things exciting. So thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Yay.
Plus,
Thank you.
I don't know what plus. I'm just like, oh yeah, thing. I'm working on that thing. Stay tuned Friday if you're curious about how this monster ticks. Because one thing we do get to do is make some things that could possibly pass for educational videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Let's do it.
A slice of pie.
Yay.
There are
Ooh, Raspberry Pi
in
4.
fact,
It's not out
Yay.
yet.
Four
No,
pies.
don't get your hopes up.
no man, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
One more thing: release date, specs, price, everything we know, which is not much. There will be no Pi for you in 2019. Nope, not gonna happen. They decided against calling it Turbo Weasel 9000. They're going to stick with Raspberry Pi 4. 40 nanometer. It's going to be a thing of the past. So maybe 28, definitely not 7. I know what. Still going to be $35. And really, this is going to like definitely flow into our next story. It's like, are you finally $35? I've never complained, but real gigabit Ethernet.
Yeah, Ethernet. Yeah.
You know, the way that they're going, they're saying the article speculates, oh, maybe it'll be 28 nanometers because it fits, you know, right in between. It's like the logical progression. If you don't go to 32-bit nanometer, you go to 28. That's how it usually goes. But given that most of the industry is actually going through a 14 nanometer process right now, why not ride that wave? Ride the lower prices as they're basically every other company is picking up that particular bit of slack.
Oh man, Big Pie got to him,
Oh,
Jill.
what happened?
Big Pie.
Oh,
It happens, man.
Okay.
He's talking. See, what everyone's got to realize, what I was genuinely just about to say, Jill,
Yeah.
was he could walk over to Raspberry Pi's headquarters and just ask him and be back before the end of the show. But
Yes. Oh.
There's no one there right
that.
now, otherwise I
Yeah.
would.
again, being
But yeah, it's with that smaller process node, you could totally get away with actually shoving some proper, I don't know, USB Type C in it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it really depends on where they want to go with the Pi itself. Do you want to stick around with it being a Tinkerbox, or something that you could legitimately use as a day-to-day
Yeah.
type system? USB-C would be handy. I could see USB-C being on there, but it's like for charging purposes only.
Yeah, and he was making a point that was not very reliable, and sometimes it isn't. So, but yeah, I like the fact that they're trying to keep it the same size, and so the same size, and also that's why they're not going any smaller in the chips, because they don't want it also to be more expensive than it already is.
Yes.
So, yeah,
I
that
don't know,
makes
man.
sense.
7 nanometer, maybe put some HBM memory on it.
Yes,
Yes,
Turbo
let's increase
Pi.
that price. Yeah, let's increase that price from $35 to $300.
Come on,
Yeah.
300 watt TDP. Come on, man. Live a little. That'd be brilliant. I'm always looking forward to it. I
Yeah.
have everything except for the Pi Compute module. That's the only thing I haven't bought, and just good on them, especially
Yeah.
keeping it at 35 price point, because that lets you get it in schools.
Yes, exactly. And keep it size small so it fits in pre-existing projects as well.
Yeah,
So,
keep the
that's
form
awesome.
factor. And
Yeah.
if they are reducing that process size, yeah, they could keep the form factor and increase the amount of functionality. That'd be nice.
All right.
Very, very cool.
What's up next?
Yay! Okay, next up is Pi-hole version 4.2 has been released with many updates. And one of the updates I was happy about is now the Docker image will be updated with the new Pi-hole software, because it used to be that the Docker image had an older version of the software. And now they're making sure that is it's the same on both the new Pi and the Docker image. And I actually remember playing with the Pi-hole software on my Raspberry in 2015 during the initial release. And I was very impressed with how lightweight it was, the user interface, and how well it removed ads. It actually does its job. And it also uses one of my favorite web servers of all time, LightTTPD. It's awesome. And SQLite. Yeah.
Well, that's
But
the thing,
yeah.
man. 100%. I mean, one thing about Pi-holes, this is like first world problems to the max.
Yeah.
Is the Ethernet being tied to the USB 2, it can only do like 220-ish megabits per second,
Yeah.
Yep.
which is slower than my internet.
I know. and
Yeah,
that's...
for your internet specifically, Ven. Let's face it, most of the world, at least in the US, it still averages around 30
All I'm
megabits
hearing
per
is
second.
you want me to hook one up and put a webcam on it and just give you an idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, for most people, actually, this will be great if you just want to help your family and say they have like a 30 megabit internet download.
Yeah.
Just plug in the Pi-hole to their router and their ads are just gone.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
great.
Yeah.
Or you could install Brave. But I get
Yes,
this.
Brave.
This is a
Yeah.
good solution for the entire house. Then again, we come
Yeah.
into that whole panel thing.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
nothing stopping you from installing it on, something slightly beefier.
Yes.
No,
Definitely.
there isn't. It's just that if you are going through something that has a lot of ads, you will eventually hit that bottleneck.
Post.deny file.
Yeah.
Yeah, the host file is really, really nice. You should learn how to deny everything.
All right, beautiful people. We're going to bounce out of here, but maybe you have a better solution. More than likely, you just might, for setting up, ad blocking at home or anything like that. You want to get in touch with us. Pedro, can they do it? Is it possible? Do we have to use carrier pigeon or TCP/IP over station wagon?
I don't know, given the internet here on Wednesday nights, probably a carrier pigeon would be more reliable. But hey,
Oh.
if you'd like to let us know about something that you found out or something that we got wrong or in a much rarer occasion got right and you'd like to add to that, you can do so by going to linuxgamecast.com. You hit the contact button, you fill in the form. Just make sure you pick LWDW from the little selection box.
Nope, not gonna
That's
do it.
all you need to do.
I refuse to read. I blindly send messages. I kind of rework this because I want to make sure everyone. Because you go to Linux Gamecast and you're like, wait a minute, why is this a gaming site? I want to talk about my Floss project. You can. If you're working on something, just absolutely wicked neat, or just like semi-wicked neat, 100%, anything made of face melting awesomeness, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk with you.
Yes.
We'd probably like to get you on the show. It'd be one of those relationships.
Yay.
Do that. Game developers, as always, we got a Steam curator page. You can go right through that. Or if you just got a question, be like, hey, but most importantly, you got something wrong. We do love those. I want to make a point. I had to talk with a game developer. I know this isn't a gaming show, but this is just a good piece of information because they had to like dig around and get a hold of me on Twitter. It said I was a spammer. I was like, did you copy and paste a press release in there by any chance? Like, oh,
with links and stuff. Yeah.
We get a actually a thing tied into a service that will activate our spam golem. So yeah, bunch of links and stuff like that. So not the best way to go about it. But send us a message. We'll give you alternate ways to get a hold to us. We just got a nice little fun one this week, though.
Yeah, Zoe got in touch, and she has a question for Jill. I noticed Jill has a large capacity of penguin plushies. I suspect they will soon overflow the room, and Jill will be covered entirely by penguins. I wonder where she gets all these penguins, and if anyone can recommend a reliable source for me to acquire some of my own. So, Jill, given that you are the one with all the penguins...
I am not going to sit idly by while you encourage hoarding. I don't care if it's your plushies.
Well, Zoe, this one. Oh, this is one of my favorite penguins of all time. This is my the Za Reason stuffed tux penguin, and it's under $20. And I put their link in the show notes. It's one of my favorite companies, and they actually sponsor the Linux Chicks of Los Angeles. Yay! But many of my official tux penguins were given to me as swag at scale. We often get gifted stuffed penguins at our Linux Chicks LA booth, and that's because we have tons of penguins on display at our booth, and everyone wants to add to our marching penguins. And I have penguins from everyone from Novell to Penguin Computing to Corel Linux, and yeah, so the Linux conventions are a great way to build up your text collection.
Amateur.
Yes. But I have a big one right behind me, but I don't know if you can see it. And that one was given to me by Patrick, and that's another way I get penguins is as gifts.
That's not a 5-foot penguin.
No, but I actually do have a penguin that's 6 foot, but it's a blow up penguin. Someday I'll have to stick that behind me. But anyways, Zoe, another good place you can get cute penguins, not just tux penguins, but just cute penguins in general, is on eBay and Amazon. And doing a search for stuffed penguin, Linux penguin, tux penguin, or cute penguin is a really good way to get them. And actually, yes, I do have, I'm sure over 100 now in my collection. And so every week or so, you see a new one added behind me because I keep moving some more in.
It's an ARG. Go back and watch.
Yeah. Yay.
Don't let this become
tux.
you.
Yes. Oh.
I have the one penguin plushie, and it was Nori's. And I'm like, you're throwing away your plushies? Can I keep the penguin? Yes.
Aww.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Each to their own. People like to do the decoration. The closest thing I have to a penguin is like a Linus, reminding everyone that, Linux is number one.
That's totally number one finger. Yes.
Yes.
My house is a plushie-free zone. May not come to a surprise to anyone.
Oh.
No, really?
I mean, I draw the line at pillow.
Someone needs to get Ven one of those waifu pillows with a penguin.
If I get a waifu pillow, I'm gonna get you one. I just out of spite.
Aw. But yeah, Zoe, you're on the right track. All Linux chicks have a penguin collection. We all have a penguin. We call them the penguin stampede. So
That's
I
the
love my stuff.
horde.
Yes. and lots of other penguin kitsch.
Each to their own. Hey, that's
Yay, we
beautiful
love
though.
'em.
Yeah, penguins are definitely available if you look for them, and if you get inflatable ones, I mean, check your like local tire supplier and place like any place you can get hydrogen. Could make for a fun afternoon.
Oh yes, yes. Oh yes, we've had penguin pillows at our Linux Chick-fil-A, penguin balloons at our Linux Chick-fil-A booth, and those go over really well.
Yeah, but they probably filled them like full of that dangerous helium. We need some safe
Yes.
American hydrogen.
Oh, okay, hydrogen. Oh.
Wait, what the Hindenburg of pillows? Wait, what?
Hindenburg, man, it's the thing. All right, beautiful people, we got to bounce out of here. We're gonna roll some credits. Keep being awesome. We love you.
We love you, chat room. Oh,
Y'all are
Oh, oh.
awesome.
and thank you, Foxy. Yes, the Blender creator Ton Rosendahl received the UBL Works Award for Technical Achievement at the 46th Annual Annie Awards.
Hey, we got to thank all of our
Congratulations.
executive producers, Arthur and Mr. Fox Dog, Andrew S., Empty, The Atomic Ass, Mike G., Barbara, and Drummer 7. And did I miss anyone?
Yes.
And of
Yes,
course, I
yes.
mentioned waifu pillows and mirrors already going off in Discord.
You could probably just borrow some of his.
Probably.
Yay to all our beautiful producers, and executive producers. Thank you so much.
If I missed your name in the credits, let me know. I do these by hand each and every week.
And yes,
We love
Sandy,
you.
that number keeps getting more and off center.
Boop.
Boop. Ooh, okay.
It all
I'll be right
started
back.
because Strider was being prissy about the numbers not being perfectly centered.
Easiest way to get me to do something.
That one.
Miserable. Failed episode, that one. We try not to speak of it.
Oh, the Simpsons GIF reminded me of something. So, web officer, web developer person Heather at work, she was like, oh yeah, trying to get my my boyfriend to propose and whatnot. It's like, okay, it's like it's just that I don't want his surname. It's like, okay, his last name is Mackey, and it's like, whoa, hold on. So your boyfriend's last name is Mackey, and he's a teacher. Yes, you're dating Mr. Mackey. I don't. South Park. Oh. Yeah. So, Mr. Mackey, he exists. He just lives in the UK.
I don't know, man. I don't know why people want like different names.
Me neither. It's like, okay, so get married by all means, but why are you imposing your name on someone else?
I don't, man,
Hey,
it's a weird tradition.
I don't get it.
Let's confuse genealogy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. I remember when me and Nori kind of started talking about, okay, so what if we do spend the rest of our lives together and we do get married? It's like, well, you already have 6 names, so are you sure you want mine at the end of that? No. Cool. So we'll just keep our names as they are. Okay.
Nori just told him that she's keeping hers. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my Neo Dodge bullet moves. Is like we ended up with like the most generic last name. Stone.
Oh, which one, Sandy? Because 4 of her 6 names are last names. Yeah, I don't know. This that's still a bit of a tradition, I guess, in Portugal. It's like people have around 4 names, sometimes 5.
Oh, I do apologize. I've been a little sick today.
Oh, there's a lot of them. If you go through that list, there's a lot of them.
You didn't even make the top last names, man.
No, because Mateus, as it turns out, is a first name as well as a last name.
We're common French last names.
Martin, Bernard,
Thomas.
and Thomas.
Mm.
Dial that in. So what's everyone at home getting into the rest of this fine day?
Paladins after dinner.
Is that your crack?
Yes. It works, man. It really works. At 3840 by 2160, I get 150 burps on it. It's like,
I wouldn't know. I don't have a 1080.
It's like, oh, multiplayer Unreal Engine 3 game at 150 without dips. Yes.
If I ever show up with like a 2080 Ti, 2 things. A, I just misappropriated company funds. And B, all of it.
All of the funds.
Aw. Have a good rest, Artherin.
Yeah, that's one of the very few things me and Strider agree on. It's Paladins is actually a very decent free-to-play game.
All right. I just needed confirmation on it. It was rubbish. There we go. I got that tag team duo and I'm like, I'm not even bothering.
Yeah, if you didn't really like the idea behind Team Fortress 2, you're not gonna like Paladins.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, I liked Team Fortress back when it was on Quake.
Oh, Team Fortress, the Quake mod. Not even Team Fortress Classic, the Quake mod.
No, the Quake mod, because it actually reworked the TCP/IP stack to where you could play online against other people on
Yep.
dial-up. Like Quake out of the box, you couldn't do that.
Oh, what's that? IPX? Okay, here we go.
Oh no, it had a TCP/IP stack, but it worked over a network, home network-ish. Old people know what I'm talking about. Quake 2,
Aw.
oh yeah. Quake 2's the thing.
Yeah, hey, Sandman. Yeah, Quake 2.
1998, 1997 when Quake 2 came out, that I spent a lot of hours playing that game.
Listen, there's nothing sexier than bringing a $390 video card to its knees in 2019 with Quake 2 at 1080p.
You can almost get 50 FPS on it.
Almost. RTX on, baby.
I was explaining that to Nathan. It's like, but that's like one of the brand new video cards, right? Right. So why is it playing an old game like that slow? Ray tracing. Oh, that's the new thing. Yes. Why is it so slow? Okay, how much time do you have?
What do you mean, massive? Previous super shows? It's on the Patreon page. If you look in your upper right-hand corner, it's got an RSS feed, or you can just pull it right off the page. There's also a video version.
Yes.
Or if you want to participate in the Preppy Super Shows, then just hop over into Creep Shows in at 8:30 Eastern Time, which is an hour before we go live for the general public. Which that has kind of turned into a thing. For King of People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott's a big fan of the Creep Shows.
You can see the video. Okay. Agreed. You can most definitely see it.
It's the video. That's you'd expect it to.
It'd be hard mode, wouldn't it?
Yeah. All right. I need to pee. I'll be right back.
Okay.
For the live link for the Preppy Super Shows, and is there's not a video for that. That's audio.
Yeah, the video isn't live. Sometimes a video one gets produced after, but it's just audio.
It's recorded. If you want to go
Yeah.
back and watch the video, yeah, it's audio only. What's going on, Jill?
Oh. Yay!
I mean, you can tell me. I mean, I'm down with just sitting here in silence.
Oh.
I'm into it.
Yeah, no. No.
Oh no!
Massavoni.
Boo! The notification widget will disappear.
Oh.
The ringy bell is going away.
What? On YouTube?
On like the ringy bell, it's like the widget is gone. Bye bye.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
It's going
the thing that notifies you that you have messages from
Yeah,
around
what-
Google.
Oh, yeah, because it's Google Plus. Oh, but still that. Okay, so they're gonna integrate, with their new. They're splitting up Google Plus into or Hangouts.
Oh, there's
into chat and-
stripping it for parts.
Yeah.
That started like what 2 years ago when they pulled Messenger out of Google Plus.
Yeah.
Like, whatevs. All right, that's fine, because if you log in, I think Empty, I saw it last night or night before too, was like on the mobile app. It's like, this is going away. Better get rid of it. To which I'm like, okay, Google, well, how about you like, separate it from Android, which you can.
Yeah.
Try to install Google Plus. It won't. I mean, you could crack open Titanium backup and put it to bed, but that's about it.
It's just so sad. Yeah, everyone out there, again, remember to back up your Google Plus account. Google has sent emails to everyone on links to do that, and we had put them in the show notes also a couple weeks ago. I just did that myself.
I didn't. Don't let it burn.
Aw. I want to save all those messages.
See, what would really jack us up is if they do something to like hangouts.google.com, because Pedro,
Yeah.
myself, and
Yeah.
Jordan have been using that. That's our Slack.
Yeah.
We genuinely
I
have
know.
conversations on Google Messenger going back like 5+ years.
Yeah. So they're gonna they're gonna do a chat for that.
Well, the thing is, they
Which is
currently
great.
have like 6 chat lines.
Yep.
for
I
different
know.
services.
I know. But they said specifically for Hangouts that they were gonna, keep it similar, but with just chat.
Yeah, and they're also getting rid of the notification widget.
Yeah.
On
Yeah, Vin was just
March
noticing
7th?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google,
So-
apparently. That was the gift it
I-
gave me when I typed in Google. I don't know.
Yeah, Don M Friends plus me. Yeah, that's a good one too. I like that exporter.
No, man, that's Keyboard Cat previously on Breaking Bad.
Different keyboard cat, yes.
What is that? Jesse Mausenberg?
Mhm.
Gotta be a thing. Why would you put a USB cable in the save icon?
Is that USB flash
One.
drive limited to 1.44 megabytes?
No, that USB flash drive's limited to like 10 megabits a second. Well, 10 megs a second. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That sounds fast until you try to transfer things that start with a G
Mm-hmm.
over it.
Mhm. Hmm.
Let's see if Google, well, YouTube is done processing my Warhammer video.
Oh, your upload? Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute, Patrick. Mirror.
It's ridiculous, man. The 1080 60 breakdown probably takes, if not an hour, just a little over.
Mm-hmm.
720, it'll fart out in a hot second. But there's that. If you want like frame times and all that. It's not a bad game.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
basically Left 4 Dead.
It was, yeah, it was fun watching it last night.
It's like it's Left 4 Dead that runs a little bit worse.
Mental note, you consider that a little bit.
A little bit. We're going from 300 frames a second on average to 30.
That's like if I hear you like a crash, I'm like, Pager, are you all right? You're like, oh, I'm a little bit cut. I'm dialing 999 for you, man. 'Cause you're missing a limb.
Look, I'm used to adversity in my life, so I just take things like, okay, this is a thing that happens. Yeah.
No, that's most definitely a thing. Okay. Let's see, we got 35 gigs to chew through. So you're gonna be playing Paladins tonight, Jill. What are you gonna be up to?
Doing some more scale planning. Yay!
Also, I'm gonna mention it
Yeah.
here, so everyone's gonna get an early crack at it. Thinking about doing Left 4 Dead 2, zombies versus
on
not
Friday.
zombies on Friday.
Cool. That'll be
So if
fun.
we can get an even number of people together,
Okay.
we can do it. Well, I'm just trying to prevent, if we have a lock in, if we can get like 3-on-3, like
3-on-3.
6 or 4-on-4, which we can do 4-on-4.
Okay.
It's just what we can't do is have those teams locked in and be like, oh, last minute, I want to play. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That would be like one of the
Yeah.
more regular things of you taking offense of, Jordan. More regular. Englishing very well.
No.
Right. Anything else we need to go over? Bounce out of here?
No, I can't think of anything.
No.
Try harder.
Oh, I will say, I was actually surprised that the stream went as smoothly as it did yesterday, because with Warhammer End Times Vermintide, I had already seen 2 error boxes, one of which crashed the game, and the other one which made the sound go away. So, yeah, I was very glad that neither one of those popped up.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. No, it turned out great, Pedro. You did a good
Yeah.
job.
It's just the FERPs.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
25 frames a second for this bit. Okay, cool.
Okay, I got something curious. Do a search for Ryzen 2700. It just disappeared off Amazon.
Let's see, 2700 Ryzen. No, it's in Amazon UK. It's still showing up. 237 pounds.
That looks like a
Oh.
valid search for Ryzen, right? Ryzen 7 2700?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it comes up with the yeah, the combo with the kit.
that's it.
Oh,
It
US
poofed.
shipments are
Thumbs up. I mean, it's gone.
No, well, Amazon UK is still showing it.
Okay, they still have them on the island.
Yeah. And it's about 62.4 pounds cheaper than the 2700X.
They're there.
That's funny. Jack, Jelly Bean.
That's not a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
Asus.
I mean, you're getting
B350,
basically
16
a full
gigs of
system.
RAM. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full system. You just need to add the GPU for 570 pounds. Yeah, it's pretty good.
that's genuinely not a bad deal. I think that's going to do us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah, 1700s are nothing now, which is great. This is what I want to happen to
With the 2700
2700s.
when the
Yeah, when the Ryzen
3000
3.
series release, yeah.
Everybody gonna have fun buying those. I'm like, yep, now we get a 2700. Click. Go socket AM4. You know, I think we're just gonna have to explode people's heads when we're gonna be able to have like an AMD. What do you do? I mean, what team do you get accused on when you? Because Intel is going to come at it hard.
They have to.
They will.
I mean, they
Yeah.
have the 20 series to compete with, so they have to.
So you
And
well, you know they're going to have ray tracing stuff built into it. Guarantee you. Guarantee. I will put money on it. How much you want? Like $1?
Maybe something to compete with DLSS, sure, but the ray tracing stuff, I don't think so.
Guaranteed.
Well, yeah, no, Intel is going to have to come out swinging because if they are going to release a dedicated GPU, it's going to have to be at least competitive, and Intel prices aren't cheap, so they have to be competitive.
Well, I think Raj could have definitely. I think Raj with a budget.
Raj with a budget and not being limited to a antiquated ass process node like AMD seems to keep one to writing.
Why do you hate AMD so much, Pedro? You're just a shill for NVIDIA, even though you're talking about Intel. Read.
Yes. It's like, put Raj as the head of a team that's actually working with Intel process manufacturing with, you know, everything that Intel has accomplished thus far. Yeah, it's probably going to be a decent enough GPU. Probably very expensive, but decent.
I think it's going to be pretty interesting then to see where they go. See, I mean, we just got confirmation that it will, in fact, have dedicated hardware for ray tracing.
Oh, that's actually been sort of kind of leaked.
No, it's just whatever Strider types out. Just flip it.
Okay. Just do the opposite,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I mean, you can pretty much take that to the bank. That'd be It'd be interesting though, because as much as I hate to say, well, I don't even hate to say it, man. I mean, when it comes to video cards, but I have AMD cards, but AMD just doesn't have the resource. They need to, sell off Radeon Group.
Then we just have ATI again.
Yeah.
Again, not much would change.
To be fair, when AMD bought ATI, they kept FGLRX as the Linux drivers, and I guess that speaks volumes. But yeah, they need the Navi to be as good as the leaks have suggested. Have the 3080 or whatever they're gonna call it compete with the 1080.
Here's the problem with that, Brad. They're thinking about maybe competing with the 1070, maybe on the high-end Navis competing with the 1080. AMD is like, you know what? We're going to release an 11 series card that does that too.
Yeah, that's what the announcement.
Here's the problem, Pedro. That card's going to be out in like 3 days, man. Not possibly maybe an announcement by the end of 2019.
And it's like NVIDIA releasing that mid-generation GPU is totally an answer to a question that was never posed, because AMD never announced Navi. It's like, okay, so we have this lineup of cards about to go, and you got nothing.
Again, all signs were pointing towards, hey, listen, it's my working theory at CES, and that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
NVIDIA had already been like, yo, well, we better get this out. Wait, you're not, what, you're releasing that?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're competing with our high end? Good luck with that.
I saw somebody post earlier in Discord. Didn't the benchmarks start coming out with the
Radeon 7? They were under embargo yesterday because that was release day.
news? I don't know. It'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll at least be competitive with the 2080.
It would be very nice, but it
Yes.
seems for that price point, they're going for the 2070. But hey!
Well, I mean, if it can at that price point, yeah, see, that's the problem, man. A 2070 is
Yeah.
only $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only, he says.
Remember when the Vega 64 came out and it was just barely edging out the 1080 and almost competing with the 1080 Ti, and it was 3 times as expensive because crypto mining?
Vegas, man. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, it's just a very expensive card.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did great when it came to Ryzen on the CPU side, because it's like, oh, a noticeable performance bump from Bulldozer, and it's really cheap. People really like that. Now you're coming out with a video card that your track record isn't exactly great when it comes to video cards either, at the exact same price as an Nvidia card. People are just gonna go, no.
Well, the hardcore people they're going to go yes just because.
Yeah, but that's a very small, albeit vocal minority, but
well,
very, very
you
small.
know, here's the thing. I think this was released because they needed something to show off, or just release. Because I have read straight up reports that they're losing money by selling this thing. Because this was never meant as a consumer card.
Speaks volumes.
It wasn't. 16 gigs? No, it wasn't.
HBM2, really, AMD? Over, like, this is what, the 4th generation that they've been trying to shoehorn HBM into, and every single time it's always the same story. It's too expensive. Why do you insist? Yes, the throughput is great. Getting 1 gigabit per second off of that GPU memory is great. But NVIDIA is pulling in at almost 500 gigabytes per second, so you're going to need more. You're going to need a lot more.
Are you trying to imply that the NVIDIA is the budget solution?
They're offering the
Yeah.
1050 and the 1050 Ti. They've been the budget solution since the 700 series.
The 1050 and 1050 Ti. Just don't count. Those come in Dells.
Yeah, they do.
No, don't exist.
It's like, oh, what's that? Almost the performance of a 970 just off of the PCIe without needing any extra power?
Let's be honest. No one says almost the performance of a 970 with joy in their words.
If you're poor, yeah, they do. Trust me, I've been there.
No, they would have to be non-intelligent, because if you're looking at that, you go to the used market and you get something a lot better.
Which, if you're intelligent, you realize, oh, this has been mining for however many months, 24/7 at 100%.
This is why I buy better shit than Pedro, because I don't have these arguments with myself.
I don't have that argument. It's like the 1050 and the 1050 Ti as a fully PCIe powered card are great. They're awesome.
Pedro's got a 1050, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. Here's my 980 Ti. It's about $10 less, too.
Yeah, no, see, even secondhand 980s go for considerably more than
still
150
expensive.
pounds. Like, considerably more.
980 Ti's go for about $200 on the high end on eBay.
Yeah, that's 200 pounds because people
No,
around
dollars.
here, they don't care about... No. People around here, they don't care about the currency translation, and they sell, oh, it's $200? Okay, 200 pounds.
That's
Oh.
cute. I wasn't talking about the pricing in Britannia, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about an island where you can't even get a camcorder that does 60 frames per second.
Oh.
It's Canon.
That's gonna
That
be-
one I'm blaming solely on Canon.
Nope, that's going to be my "and you lost a war to emus" argument for you.
I think it's Sony. They have a line of cameras that actually does 60 FPS. I just have to look at them. And they're not as cheap as Canon's.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's dollar does equal pounds.
Yeah, according to most of the resellers here, it's like, oh, what's that? $200? Okay, 200 pounds.
I gotta check something before we get out of here.
It's like the, how much is the 2700X over where you are, Ven?
The what?
The 2700X, the Ryzen.
I don't know. We tried. It disappeared.
No, you looked for the 2700. How about the X?
Do you want? Oh, eat a dick, Pedro. First result.
You don't want to get that first one.
Okay, how about we go for the 122 pound,
Okay, that
or the
that's
195 pound, or the 219 pound, or the 100 pound, or the
those are
65
up
pound,
for
or the 270.
Those are up for bids. Bids. Let's differentiate between the bid and the buy now price, okay?
Nope.
Yeah.
There's a difference there.
Oh, all right.
Okay, the buy it now price on eBay is
$219.
$309.99.
Yeah, the 1050 Ti, the MSRP was 150, brand new.
$200. Yeah, it's coming around to like 250.
Yeah,
These are all buy it now
about
options.
$100 more than
208.
or $50 more,
Yeah.
$60 more.
Now,
whatever.
the moral of the
It's still
story,
more.
ladies and gentlemen, is now, unless I'm crazy, 980 Ti is just like 2% faster than something that's almost as fast as a 970.
And it will die much sooner because it's been mining 24/7 for at least 6
Yeah.
or 7 months.
Now, this all makes sense if people bought 980 Ti's for mining, which they didn't. But continue on with your fanfic.
When Ethereum came out, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
When Ethereum came out, they bought all the NVIDIA video cards because, like, oh, NVIDIA can actually pull those off. Huh.
Yeah, everybody I know, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no.
Ryzen 7X right now on eBay for buy it now is $309.99.
And it's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually, yeah.
1-to-1.
Yeah.
What about it?
No, the pound to the dollar when it comes to computer hardware is 1-to-1.
New.
Yes.
I don't know, Massive. You don't need to be lowballing. Only 500, maybe 7. Oh, Australia is brutal.
Yeah. Australia really got the short end of that particular stick.
I mean, it's not as bad as like Brazil.
Oh, what's that? Brazil? Yeah, that is totally a third world country, so we're just going to price gouge the crap out of them.
They have the tax, it's like 6 or 7 taxes stacked on. Like right now, even if you try to buy, except for Microsoft built a factory. That's the way you get out of
Yeah, it's like internal hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a PS4 right now in U.S. currency is roughly like $700 in Brazil.
Mhm.
Crazy.
That's why the PS2 market and the custom PS2 market of people are creating those bootleg PS2s is still doing pretty well in Brazil.
They're still selling the Mega Drive,
Yeah.
which is licensed.
Yep.
You know,
And Sega's going, oh, we could just say that they can keep doing it and they'll keep doing it? Okay.
just keep doing it, man. I mean, if you're buying something to play around on the TV with, you know, $700 or like 30.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you could play a couple of reals, pay a couple of reals for the Mega Drive, whatever it's called nowadays. Or, yeah, 700 US for a PS4.
It's crazy.
Or go to the black market and just buy them at, you know, US retail price. Good luck.
Welcome to that no-flight list. Hope we didn't ever have to do anything in Brazil.
Guess we're not going there anymore.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. I gotta go make a show,
Yeah.
and Patrio's got video games to play, and I don't know. Jill's gonna play with her camera to see if she can get something matching a skin tone out of it.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Something that doesn't look pasty gray.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back Thursday. Borderlands. That's coming up. Jordan will be rocking that nonsense at 7:30 Eastern Standard Moon Time. Check it out on schedule at
Yay.
Schemecast.com. Schedule button. Smash that thing. And I'll be back Friday with no telling.
Yay.
Terribly mysterious. All right. Till then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Love you, chat room. Bye bye.